You're listening to Later with Mo Kelly on demand from KFI AM 640.
KFI, Mr. Mo Kelly, live everywhere on the iHeartRadio app as we continue our celebration and remembrance of now the late Frankie Beverly and Mays. And joining me in studio right now is one of Frankie Beverly's super fans.
That would be me.
Claudine Cooper, ClaudineCooper.com. Claudine, it's good to see you. I know when you were posting on social media that you were on your way up here in the music bed of your post was none other than Frankie Beverly and Mays. So let me get out of the way. Let me just talk about Frankie Beverly, or let you talk about Frankie Beverly. Why is his music special to you?
Oh, this is a big question. Basically, Frankie Beverly and Mays, they have the soundtrack to my entire life. So my parents are music lovers and raised me from a very young age with a great appreciation for music from the best of the best. And Frankie Beverly is by far one of the best.
When I saw you today, as I gently changed gears, I walk out, I didn't see you. I heard your voice.
Yes.
And I walked out to where Tuwala was, and I'm thinking like, well, where's Claudine? And, and then you hobble out into the hall, and you were hurt. I was thinking,
I'm injured.
Claudine, what's wrong? You're here to talk about health and wellness, and you're hobbling.
Listen, okay, so I missed a step, and on my way in, I tripped, and maybe I was looking down at my phone at the time, just holding myself accountable, saying, don't walk and use your phone, kids. Okay. Look, I did it. I tripped. I fell. I have like a scrape on my leg. But one thing I did say was my bounce back game is strong. And I do attribute that to the fact that I work out. As we get older, taking a fall takes on a whole nother meaning, right?
Correct. And that's part of the reason why we wanted to talk about this, because I know just with martial arts, you're taught to fall, and it has done me well over the years as I get older. And I fall like everyone else, but I kind of know how to fall, and I want to lessen the likelihood of breaking a hip or injuring myself in a way, because as you get older, it takes a long time to heal if you do at all. So keeping ourselves at a level of healthiness or
agility.
Agility,
really.
Right.
Yeah, that's really what it is. Because in order to break a fall, right, and I use this example all the time because, you know, I had 3 children within a 5-year time span. And so
I just say, damn.
So there were toys, because I had toddlers, and there were toys all over the place, and there were steps and obstacles all over. So I always say that I train for life. I'm not training for a competition. I'm not training for a marathon. And one of the things that I always refer back to is how my son used to play with, like, you know, dump trucks. I mean, he's a boy, right? He's a boy's boy. So I would find myself like stepping on a toy and be like, Gah! But
the pain is excruciating.
But I wouldn't take any severe falls because I was able to catch myself before I got too deep into the fall. Now tonight, that's a whole nother story. I actually did fall. Like I really did plant out on my hands. It was bad.
I'm sorry, I'm not laughing at you.
You are, though.
No, because when I came in, you showed me your leg. There was like a Band-Aid on your leg.
No, it's serious. It's serious. And the thing is, look, I'm not ashamed to fall. Okay. I am almost 50 years old. The fact that I could bounce back, get up, come in here, do the show with you, it is speaking to my agility and coordination at this age. However, a fall of that magnitude for a person who may not be fit or strong could potentially result in, what'd you say, should we call the paramedics?
Yeah. And we talk about this now because you have to develop that agility in advance of it. You can't hope that it's going to be there when it happens, because let's be honest, there are a few times where I've almost busted my ass trying to get out of the shower.
You look, it's never something where it's like, oh, I was doing a backflip off of the diving board. It's nothing like that. It's always something functional, like getting out of the shower or walking up the steps to meet up with Mo. You know, I mean, it could be anything like that. So it's usually we take those falls doing stuff just haphazardly. Like I was looking at my phone, and I'm not ashamed to say that me looking down at my phone is why I missed that step.
Well, at least it wasn't in the car when you're doing 55 miles an hour and then, cause a chain reaction of events.
Right. It only impacts me.
Right.
Right. But even thinking about a fall, right, I think being a person who's fit, I could have easily brushed it off like, I had a fall and I'm just going to go in here and pretend I didn't fall. But this is such a deeper thing to talk about, because here I am on a platform with you, Mo, and your listening audience, and I am okay with talking about the fact that I took a fall. There's nothing to be ashamed of with being human. And just because I'm a fit person or I'm a fitness professional, it doesn't mean that I don't look down at my phone and take a fall like an average person as well. So I like to make sure that I'm being as human and transparent in all that I do.
I think my biggest issue is my ego will get in the way. Mm-hmm. Because I have to remind myself, put your hand on the rail when you're going down the steps in your house, because when you're in a familiar environment, you'll take liberties. You'll run the stairs up and down real fast. And it's not that I'm not agile enough. Mm-hmm. I'm just not young enough to deal with the consequences of tumbling down the stairs. And there's a difference. And so I have to remind myself I'm not 22 anymore. Mm-hmm. But the point I'm making is I try to keep myself still at a certain level where I can deal with some of the unexpected moments of life. Mm-hmm. And you have to be agile in advance of that moment, not after the fact.
I think Sugar Free says it best. If you stay ready, you ain't got to get ready. Yeah. I feel like
I've fallen and I can't get up.
Stop.
I know you remember those commercials.
Oh man, Life Alert.
See?
Life Alert.
You see, it was funny back then. Now it's like, that might be relevant in my life.
Well, actually, at this point in time, I feel like it's actually like we can't say something like that as funny because it's insensitive, Well,
but not only that, I have to think about it. I'm only maybe 5 years away from Life Alert. Just put it around my neck so I could just push a button and the paramedics will be on the way.
Hey, sometimes when we're by ourselves, like you were saying, walking down the steps, I mean, I don't know if your wife is always home or if she works from home, but if you're by yourself.
No, I'm usually by myself too. With two dogs running up and down the stairs as well.
Dogs can't call 911 for you.
No, but they can trip you up.
Yes, they can.
And they have. So, they're well-intentioned and they just want to see me, but they'll run between my legs and everything. And if I'm moving fast, I've almost pulled out the banister on more than one occasion.
Well, I don't have a dog at home. I don't have any pets at home, but I do know that dogs are so very excited to see the person who they call dad or mom when they walk in, that they do tend to maybe knock you over sometimes, right? Yeah. So just another nod to staying in shape.
When we come back, I'm curious because earlier in the week, we talked about the passing of James Earl Jones. And I know that you're someone who was a fan of James Earl Jones. Mm-hmm. I have a question for you, and I don't want to reveal it yet, but I want to get your thoughts and see if there's any connection between James Earl Jones and you, Claudine Cooper. When we come back in just a moment.
You're listening to Later with Mo Kelly on demand from KFI AM 640.
As we continue our musical tribute to the legacy of the now late Frankie Beverly of Frankie Beverly and Mays. And I was right in the middle of a conversation with a Frankie Beverly superfan, Claudine Cooper.
Love me some Frankie Beverly and Mays.
This name, Claudine Cooper, obviously you can find out more about her at ClaudineCooper.com, but there's something that I want to know. Recently, we also marked the passing of James Earl Jones.
Yes.
Who passed away at the age of 93. And those who know his not early, but at least the 1970s cinematic history of James Earl Jones know that he co-starred with Diane Carroll in this movie called Claudine.
Yes.
Claudine is not a common name, nor is Morris, but when I see Claudine, your name, I think about the movie Claudine, which came out in 1974. So let me ask you, because I don't know, is there any connection to that movie?
There is. My parents actually had the name kind of in the arsenal from seeing the movie. And when I was born, my mom said that I had an old soul. She felt that I had an old soul. Claudine is an older name. And as I was telling you earlier, it is something that I've grown into. But being, like in 5th grade with the name Claudine was kind of,
I can say I can imagine, but I don't imagine. I kind of went through it, so I know.
You lived it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Having these older names, although now I like having a classic name, but it definitely was inspired by the movie. And now Diane Carroll and James Earl Jones are both resting peacefully.
Now, if you weren't named Claudine, what do you think your parents would have named you?
Well, my dad liked Claudia. And people still call me Claudia.
Because they can't figure out Claudine.
Well, it goes between like Claudia, Claudine, Claudette.
And I know all three, in my life, professional life especially.
And look, I don't split hairs about it. I'm just like, if somebody keeps saying...
Oh, no. I split hairs.
Do you?
Oh, yeah. Still, people will come up to me and say, hey, Maurice. It's not my damn name. It's not my name.
See, me, I'm not going to continue to correct people. I just let them. And then eventually when they realize that they had been calling me Claudia and my name is Claudine, they'll be like, oh, I'm so sorry. I just, it's all good. It's okay.
Well, let's relate this to our general conversation. I just know that I had some emotionally unhealthy days when people would make fun of my name or couldn't get my name right. And there are people like Morris Gibb of the Bee Gees who made things more complicated because it was pronounced Morris. I do know this for a fact, but it was spelled Maurice.
No.
Yeah.
Oh, well, I don't have any big stories like that about my name aside from the fact that people mix it up all the time. But one thing I have been doing is helping people to remember other people's names. So as you know, because I'm in the group fitness space, it's important for people to kind of get to know one another. And this is a muscle that we have not been working. It's the social muscle. So recently I taught a class, and at the end of the class, I said, hey, everyone, now ask the person to the left of you and the right of you what is their name, and then I'm going to call on a couple people and see if you can actually remember those.
I am so bad with names. I would have felt so embarrassed because I'm that person. Sorry to interrupt you.
No, you're good.
I will go to a party and someone will introduce themselves to me and say, hi, I'm John. Before I even leave the conversation, I have forgotten. It's like, wah, 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 wah.
Literally in one ear and out the other.
Gone.
Right. And so one of the exercises that I try to have people do is knowing that they might get called on, seeing if they have a better recollection of the name. That's one thing. The other thing too is I like association. So association helps our brain exercise itself. In other words, if, like you just said, if I know that the Bee Gees guy's name was Morris as well, I'll kind of relate that to you so that now when I see you, I'm kind of thinking like Bee Gee guy, Morris, right? And that helps. But then the other thing I do, which is unique to the way I remember things, I ask people to spell it.
Yes, that does help.
It helps because my name is Claudine, and maybe there are people who spell Claudine with an E-E-N at the end, right? But I spell my name with an I-N-E at the end. Your name is Morris, but as you just said, the other guy said his name was Morris, but spelled it as Maurice. Right. And so something like that would be easy for me to remember because it would be like Morris spelled like Morris, right? And in those cases, I kind of give people these tools, the same way I give people tools to get the best out of their push-ups or get the most out of their plank. I give them tools to get the most out of their social and emotional connections because that is a muscle we have not been working.
Well, make sure you work out those hips so you don't fall next time.
Listen, we're not going to talk about my falling today. Okay. I've had a couple of freak accidents over the last week or so, but I have been doing more than usual. I've taken on a couple more projects. And so I think part of it is that my mind is in different places right now. And when you're not focused, it's easy for you to do little stupid stuff like take a fall because you're looking down at your phone trying to answer an email or whatever. You know what I mean?
Since you are back on track, I know you have your Friday online workout. How can someone be part of that?
The virtual workout is through Zoom, and they can send me a request for the link, and that's through my website at ClaudineCooper.com. But the free workout that's in person is on Saturday mornings in Inglewood at the Hollywood Park Retail District.
And I've been to one. Hundreds of people show up. It's workout at your own pace. There are varying levels that you're taking people through the paces. You know, there's like beginner, intermediate, and Claudine level. Don't try to start out at Claudine level because you'll pass out. And, you know, you don't want that.
Well, last week I was surprised to see so many people. It was our kickoff session for the fall season, and there were a lot of people there, even though it was 85 degrees at 9 o'clock in the morning.
Oh, wow.
It had gotten up to about 98 that day, but I didn't expect that many people to come out on a warm morning. We've talked about climate. We've talked about how that affects your exercise, especially in the outdoor space. But this weekend, Mo, we're expecting those perfect SoCal temperatures, and I cannot wait to put it on them.
You're going to run them in the ground.
I sure am. Can't wait.
Well, I highly recommend, as someone who has done the Saturday morning free community workout, and I recommend it to you to get a complete full body workout, head to toe, arms, feet, legs, all the extremities.
Cardio, strength, balance, stability.
Yes, the balance and stability. Very important.
We work on most of the modalities just so that I can leave people with something that they can do on their own. And even while the listeners are here with us right now, one of the things that I encourage people to do is use the opposite hand to pick up your groceries. So naturally, I grab everything with my right because I'm right-handed. So when I give this advice, I also kind of tell myself to take my own advice. So instead of picking up my laptop bag or instead of picking up my backpack or my groceries with my right, in doing it with my left, I increase the strength in my less dominant side. So that's just one trick.
That's one of the pieces of information and jewels and pearls of wisdom that you can get via Claudine Cooper. Again, that's ClaudineCooper.com. Claudine, it's always good to see you. Be safe
good to be here.
on
Thank
your
you.
way home.
I'll make sure not to fall on the way down the stairs.
Don't make any promises you can't keep. We'll see you again soon.
Yes, you will. See you soon.
You're listening to Later with Mo Kelly on demand from KFI AM 640.
In other news, in medical news, you know, on this show, we've talked about head transplants and how that is transforming, I would say, the medical profession, science, moving forward as far as exchanging different body parts here and there. Well, I would say adjacent to that, surgeons have now performed the first combined eye and face transplant. And if you say eye transplant, I think of movies like Minority Report. If you say face transplant, I think of a movie like Face Off. So it seems like movies, or let's say art is now, life is imitating art. And science fiction is paving the way for medical advances. I don't know if it is as seamless as, Face Off or Minority Report, but we're almost there.
Wait, they took the face off.
Mark didn't get it.
No, Mark?
Face. Crickets. Well, let's have the cricket sound effect, please.
Oh, my goodness.
Mark?
All right, let's go to the audio.
Most individuals and experts did not think we would even be here.
This is the first successful eye transplant ever. It's the first time that an eyeball has been taken out of one person's body and transplanted into another's, and it's continued to survive for as long as it has.
I'm Aaron James. I'm from Hot Springs Village, Arkansas.
Okay, wait a minute. Can anyone translate this? I
Don't do that.
No, I'm saying I cannot understand what he's saying.
Without the banjo music?
No, and I'm quite sure it has something to do with the face transplant, which is impacting.
Used to talking again.
Right. I just can't understand him.
I'm Aaron James. I'm from Hot Springs Village, Arkansas. In 2021, I was in a work accident where I come into contact with 7,000 volts to my face. And 2023, I received a face transplant and a whole eye transplant.
A whole eye?
A whole eye.
A whole eye.
Whole eye. Not a whole eye.
I misunderstood him.
Face transplant
Your whole eyes.
and a whole eye transplant at NYU Langone.
All the functional deficits that he initially presented prior to the operation, inability to eat, dependent on a feeding tube, tracheostomy for breathing, all that has been resolved. The quality of his aesthetic result is phenomenal. Aaron's recovery has been remarkably accelerated. If we just measure, what we look at is the hospital.
Why is that instrument playing in the background?
Because of where he's from.
Why?
Because they couldn't license the music from Silence of the Lambs. That's why.
Go ahead, Stefan. Go ahead. We'll wait for that one. But my point is, like, they could have chosen a different instrument. It's distracting because it's like, are you trying to be funny with this quasi guitar banjo in the background?
Recovery has been remarkably accelerated. If we just measure, what we look at is the hospital stay following his transplant. It was the shortest of all our patients. It's a good predictor of how he will function, how he will convalesce following the procedure.
Aaron's eye is viable, and what that means is, first and foremost, it has not been rejected. We talk about when patients have transplantations done.
Can it just tell us whether he can see? It's him. It's viable. It hasn't been rejected. Can the guy see?
Aaron's eye is viable, and what that means is, first and foremost, it has not been rejected. We talk about when patients have transplantations done, that they can reject the organ or the tissue that's being transplanted.
We're a little bit over a year after the initial transplant, and the eyeball is beautifully round. The retina.
Can he see?
That's what you look for in an eyeball, by the way. That's,
just tell me, can he see? That's all I want to know.
Round. The retina is perfectly vascularized. The fact is that Aaron needed a face transplant irrespective.
I mean, I didn't have an eye there anyway.
Is this just a cosmetic thing where there's an eye as opposed to Sammy Davis glass one?
Mo, they need the eye to look natural. He just said he did not have an eye there.
Nobody can tell me whether he can see.
Mo,
I'm gonna tell you, don't worry.
Yeah, the eye is beautiful. The eye is beautiful. Many, many beautiful eyes.
The best beautiful eye
ever. It's there.
Okay, let's see.
I mean, I didn't have an eye there anyway. I'm not losing anything. If we can get something going, that would help millions of people eventually.
Although Aaron can't see out of this eye.
Oh, come on.
They want you to know the eye is viable. It's not rejecting.
Wait.
It's beautifully round.
It's
vacillating.
You are a double transplant recipient.
Yes.
Okay. Pancreas and kidney.
Yes.
Okay. You have a kidney that works.
It works.
Okay. You have a pancreas that works.
Both work.
This guy has an eye transplant and it doesn't work. What's the point? You might as well just get a cosmetic one.
No. Oh, no. Those look weird because you don't know what he's looking at.
But
if we can get something going, that would help millions of people eventually.
Although Aaron can't see out of this eye, this research is really important to one day bring sight to patients who were previously told they'd never be able to see.
So basically, they just took someone else's eye, put it in the socket, and stitched it up. But it has no real purpose other than
who were previously told they'd never be able to see.
It feels good, to say, hey, I was a part of that. Kind of makes you.
What did he say? Huh? What was that?
This research is really important to one day
let's try
bring
this one more
sight
time.
to patients who were previously told they'd never be able to see.
All right, pay attention.
It feels good, to say, hey, I was a part of that. Kind of makes you.
Huh?
I was a part of that. Kind of makes you stand up a little taller.
You just practiced with a clip from Mitch McConnell instead, didn't you? That's who that was.
I think the subtitle said I was a part of that.
I was a part of that. Kind of makes you stand up a little taller. My quality of life is it's done a complete 180. After my accident, I couldn't taste food or anything because I didn't have a nose. And that may not seem like a big deal, but when you go for a couple of years and then when you finally smell everything and taste everything, that's probably what sticks out most of all for me anyway.
Mo, does your face hurt?
I'm still just trying to figure out the whole
Answer the question,
thing.
please.
No,
Answer the question.
I refuse.
Mo, does your face hurt? Answer the question. It's a yes or no question.
I'm sorry. I did not have sex with that woman. My eyeball doesn't see. Yeah, but I'm appreciative for Hillary.
The answer to the question, does your face hurt, is, well, it's killing me.
Well, Hillary's killing me, I tell you. She was watching that debate last night and said, should have been me on that stage. But I lost. And I kept hearing from her all night, I wish she'd get a face transplant. Who said that? Who said that?
Oh, man. Damn.
Yeah, I think it's time to go to break. KFI AM 640, we're live everywhere in the iHeartRadio app. Now over to Mark Ronner. Okay, composure.
Compose yourself. Damn you, Mo.
You're listening to Later with Mo Kelly on demand from KFI AM 640.
Look, if you didn't hear the beginning of the show, I was telling you how I got a chance to run into former LA County Sheriff Jim McDonnell, and he was very, very kind to let me know, unsolicited, that he listens frequently to the show when he's usually driving in the car in the evening, and said that, we were pretty funny. I took it to mean that I was funny, but I thought it would have been magnanimous of me to let everyone else know that they were kind of funny.
Big of you.
And contributed to the overall sum total quotient of the funniness.
But it was mainly you.
Of course it was mainly me.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Well, thank you. Thank you.
Okay. I just want to spread the love.
No, it's appreciated.
Oh, it's generous of you. Honestly, we appreciate it.
Yeah. But I say that to say, if you missed any part of today's show or any other show, make sure you check out the podcast. It'll be up at KFIAM640.com. Of course, it's at iHeartRadio app if you listen to your podcast there. Spreaker, YouTube. We're on Spotify now. Anywhere that you listen to podcasts, you can find Later with Mo Kelly. And we appreciate it because we see the numbers growing each and every week. And let me just say thank you to Tuala because he puts a lot of work and effort into the podcast. It's a streamlined experience because you're taking out the unnecessary Mark Ronner parts, like when he's doing the news. We don't want to hear from him, so he takes
course not. Yeah, just weights it down. You want to just leave everything that's fun.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
No, but it is a great joy at the end of the day to listen back to the show, because as you always say, in the moment, you don't know. And a lot of people may think that this is all scripted or we're planning. And I had no idea where that eye face transplant story is going to go. And props to Lindsay for grabbing us that choice audio. When you don't know, it's hard. And I'm in here almost about to pass out because it's so damn funny what's happening. I got to go back and listen to the podcast to catch it.
What's funny is I listen to just about all the podcasts from a professional standpoint. They call it air checking yourself. I want to listen to what I do because in my head, the way I think a show comes out is not necessarily how it actually comes out. And I may hear it in my head one way, but when I go back and listen to it on the podcast, it's like, oh, it sounds completely different. And the things that I thought were just horrible, I may listen to it's like, oh, that was all right. Or the things that I thought were very funny, it's like, that was only kind of funny. But that was damn funny last segment. That was
hilarious.
Yeah.
That was hilarious. My eyes are still sore from the tears that were rolling out of them.
And Mark is trying to do the news, and I'm like messing him up, and I like always messing him up. But
yeah, I've got serious business to do in here, and I don't appreciate that tomfoolery.
I know. It's okay.
Please.
I know. You don't have to appreciate it. You just have to deal with it. You were getting ready to cuss.
I would never. I want to know who approached you and asked if this stuff was scripted. What kind of psychopath would script what we've been doing?
Seriously, over the years, people say, is that like a scripted bit or is it pre-recorded? And it is all off the top of the head. Now, I look at the story and I think like, okay, I kind of know where they're going with this because we do the head transplant story. So I kind of know, but how it's going to play out? For example, I didn't listen to that audio until the show started. So I am completely just riffing in the moment. And then I tell Stefan, you can't hear me, but I'm giving you some of the, behind the curtain at Oz. I tell Stefan, hey, find the deliverance music, right, Stefan? You can't nod your head. It's radio. And then it just kind of comes together at the end. And so that will definitely be replayed at some other time in the future.
I was a part of that. Kind of makes you stand up a little taller. My quality of life is it's done a complete 180. After my accident.
I understood that part. A complete 180. I understood that part. Wow.
And that may not seem like a big deal, but when you go for a couple of years, and then when you finally smell everything and taste everything, that's probably what sticks out most of all for me, anyway.
Why did they get Bill Clinton to do this?
Are you sure it's not Mitch McConnell?
It's Bill or Mitch.
Yeah, announcing that they've done a 180 on some vote.
Well, Mitch would have froze and it would have been silence for about 20 seconds.
Yeah, not a long enough pause. Yeah.
I got to go outside. Blows are coming low.
So I'm sure most of you, or maybe all of you, have seen Napoleon Dynamite.
Yep.
So Mitch McConnell was funny, but this is who I thought of when I heard it.
Over there, that pig, man, I found a couple of soaps on the airplane.
That was pretty good. Damn you.
Immediately went to that guy.
Oh, deep cut.
It's terrible.
Just go to break.
KFI and KOST HD2.
Los Angeles,
Orange County. Live everywhere on the iHeartRadio app.